Before we begin, I just want to clarify that this video has been re-recorded once again. As of right now, the old footage was a bit glitchy and there was a bit of scratch noises from the editor. So if you notice something that's off script from the new one, I'm just redoing the lines from the previous recording. So there will be a lot of script that would be changed up a bit, and this was meant to come out last month, a week after. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. But with that being said, let's jump right back into the video. 2022. Anyway guys, what's going on and welcome back. Today we will be discussing how far the Pokemon World Championships or the World Coordination Series has been going on for a good while. We'll be looking at how done it's seen, how it's done a great job, or what the issues were. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to like and bold tackle that subscribe button. Without any further ado, let's jump into the video. Okay, so let's start off. What is the PWCs? The PWCs is the Pokemon World Championships or World Coordination Series in a dub. This is where trainers can participate and challenge the world champion, which is Leon, the current world champion. There are 4 to 5 classes to be exact in the PWCs, that being Normal, Super, Hyper, and the Masters. Masters being the Masters 8, with the current members being Leon, Lance, Ryan, and Cynthia. The other 4 are unknown. Normal classes being 1000 to 999, from Super 999 to 99, and Hyper from being 99 to 9. Then, like I just said, the Masters 8, which is being 8 to the World Championship, which is a tournament that trainers get to battle it out and battle the current world champion or monarch for the dub. So let's talk about it. As we already know, the World Coordination Series has been a bit on the edge of the iceberg. And what do I mean by that? Well, the concept was introduced back in episode 12 of the Pokemon Journeys anime, and that was due to them of what is Ash's next goal, which that being his next goal is to defeat Leon, which I believe is a great goal. Now, that was the problem. The problem was, how are you going to make an entire arc based on the, because Journeys was meant to be episodic. And that being said, the problem that it was going to be tough, there had to be tough calls to be made. That tough calls being skipping over important matches, but some of the matches also being rushed through. For example, matches like versus Karina, Iris, and the versus B Part 3 match. Now you could say another match that could have been rushed or could have been dragged out a bit longer was the versus B match Part 2 and the versus Volkner match. Problem being that those battles were meant to be important battles. With versus Visky's match, it was meant to be the setup for Ash's Coordination Journeys battle. For versus Karina, it was meant to set up Ash going into the super class. The versus B match Part 1 being Ash being knocked back in the normal class, bouncing him back into the super class off screen. That's where we see our first major issue. For those who don't know, that match was supposed to be an important match to see if Ash can bounce back and take his win against B. But during the break time after his first loss, we were introduced to 2 to 3 episodes. One episode of being Ash helping Go find a Pikachu. The next episode being Ash being bummed out or depressed that he got knocked back into the super class. And finally, going back to Alola. This was the cause of why it was messed up. It wasn't just only this episode of a battle for this episode order, but also the versus Karina matches and after the Riolu egg hatch. With these episodes, we were skipping over battles, and we didn't know how Ash was ranking up or seeing his progress during off-screen. This also came into indication when we had a whole bunch of fillers, and it felt like the fillers were dragging out so long, we had to wait 3 to 6 months to figure out what or when was the next battle or important battle, which led into a lot of speculation because, like I said, Journeys is episodic. We don't know who is coming back. He could be a rival, a companion, or even, I don't know, some old filler character, probably a gym leader, I don't know, or some old character today's. But this also turned into a more bigger issue when it came post Darkest Day arc. Because you guys paid attention, the only Pokemon that was getting the most focus and screen time was Pikachu, Riolu / Lucario, Verboot / Cinderace. Now, you could throw Sobble in there, but Sobble wasn't the case since Sobble didn't got a lot of focus until around the early 50s until it finally evolved into. This was also an issue when it came to the Ash versus Rento match. Now, you could say this one worked out pretty well since, yes, it was Farfetch / Sirfetch's character development, but Rento was meant to be set up as a rival from what we've seen. But that's not being the case, as Rento was just a plot device for Ash and Sirfetch. You could also say Wickstrom was the same thing because a lot of people also speculated that he would help out in the World Championships, which also that didn't turn out to be the case. You could also encourage a lot of people that Gengar, Dracovish, and Dragonite haven't been getting in a lot of battles because of Dragonite taking a lot of wins, Gengar getting a lot of losses, or it's just that Dracovish isn't getting enough screen time. And like I said in my previous video, I will say it again, the only way that these guys will get better is not only through battle. They don't have to do battles to get better, but they can also change up their personalities and the way that they train in the battle style. Problem is that Gengar and Dragonite, they were caught either in the secondary or their final stage, which you can't get out that many development out of them. But that being said, we are getting an Ash versus Marnie, so it'll be Gengar versus Grimmsnarl, I believe. So we will be seeing Gigantamax Gengar in the next few weeks. This also came to occur that when we finally got to the borderline of the superclass into the hyperclass with Ash versus Iris. Ash versus Iris. What was the problem with this battle or the episode of the battle of itself? Well, it started off great as considered, in my opinion, the best character return episodes of all time. That being said, was a character like Iris who was hated from Best Wishes throughout the entirety of the decade into Journeys. It was kind of hard to make Ash lose in some sense, as like I said before, because of Dragonite. Now, you could argue the fact that yes, Iris did get stronger, but we also got to take into account that some of these Pokemon were already trained up in the wild. Not counting Dracovish, because in the games, in the Sword and Shield games, Dracovish is already broken with Vicious Ren, and Dragonite, like I said before, it was already training before it came with Ash. And for Dragonite, this came the same way with the versus Karina fight, because like I said again, Dragonite was already training in the wild. That's why it had to move Dragon Dance at the time. It was able to repel Lucario's close combat attack. The difference being here is that Dragonite should have lost to Iris's Dragonite since Iris's Dragonite was already powerful enough, which we have seen it at the beginning of the battle, to where the point that Dragonite should have been the first one to lose and Dracovish should have been knocked out. But thanks to Ash's greatest unpredictability, that was not the case. You could also say the fact that Iris also helped Dragonite win the battle due to Iris' special powers connecting with Dragon-type Pokemon. And I can argue the fact that that is correct. I have rewatched the episode many times, both watched it in dub, sub, and raw, and this again proves the point that the PWC is going to struggle within the future. Now, this also ties into the Project Mew situation, as a lot of people were speculating that Gary would come back in. I believe that Gary wouldn't be in the PWCs for multiple reasons. That being said, that Gary's story of being a trainer was already over. If you paid attention in the Johto series and Chronicles, plus Advanced Generation and Diamond and Pearl, that again Gary's story was over. Now, who else would have been able to come into the PWCs? A lot of people are still speculating Paul. Now, it's not the fact that I hate the character Paul, it's just the fact that how do you throw him in there? This also goes into Alon, Cameron, Silent, all those guys. You just can't shove them in there without a particular reason, which is why the normal. This one is where we get into the real main issue of the PWCs. After the versus Volkner battle, this one sparking a lot of hope for those who are hoping that the PWCs would be better. That being the case, that it wasn't. And you can tell from the fact, starting with the Mega Lucario to the adventure to the Mega Island episode. You knew from the moment they started the episode that it was going to go downhill from here. That being said, we didn't witness Ash practicing using Mega Evolution. He was practicing it off screen until the Versus B episode, which has been stated has been a few days after they went to the Mega Island, and it's been a few days ever since they went to the Mega Island, and that's where Ash would challenge B. That's where we get into the episode, the two-parter. The first part, it was basically Lucario versus everyone. This is the fact where Lucario literally had 17 health bars, that means stat of Sirfetch's health bar, which made Sirfetch get one or two shot in the following episode, and Lucario having another health bar stacked on top with Mega Evolution in the second part. And this video is basically kind of like the Lucario, it's all Lucario's fault. But technically, it is not Lucario's fault. Because if you look at the pattern, Lucario has only lost one battle, or tied in one battle, and that's being against Volkner's Luxray, and defeating basically B's entire team. So let's see, where are we at? We're with the Bayleaf episode, and the situation with Palpitoad from Best Wishes, and Diolo and Trial. So basically this is their fourth time recreating Ash, or probably fifth time recreating Ash, taking out a trainer's entire team. Now you can help with Pikachu, but again, it was basically Lucario's entire show throughout the two-parter. This was also to promote the Gigantamax Machamp for the Sword and Shield games, and the Mecha Lucario that was for toy merchandise. Now this gives us a sense of hope, or a sense of doubt, that the PWCs is not going to get better over time. But that doesn't say that wouldn't stop the Marnie episode to be a good battle. Hopefully the writers don't mess it up, but a lot of people are having their doubts now. But I think that's enough about being said of the PWCs, so let's get into the outro. Okay, so this begs the question now, will the PWCs get better? I'm going to say yes it will, but no at the same time. The problem being is the fact that the writers are going to step it up if they're going to have to write good episodes. And animation does not equal a great episode. It's about the story of how they're telling the episode. And the music cannot carry the episode the entire scene, because for the previous PWCs battles, we've seen the music carry the episode itself when it comes to the PWCs battles. Now, this also begs the question, how long do we have until we see Ash versus Leon? And judging from how the series is being paced, it's going to be a 4-year series overall. Because right now we're in year 3, and we're probably going to enter year 4, and that's where we're going to get the last few episodes. But that's all I have to say. If you guys enjoyed today's video, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Next video will be on the topic of Project Mew, probably, if I can get around that script, or I have a special video for Pokemon Day. But other than that, I hope you guys have an awesome day.